What's going on, guys? Welcome back for another episode of Too Many Toys Jake. Today we're going to be working on, as you can see, the Oldsmobile Delmont 88. If you haven't seen the last video, make sure you go check it out. We pulled this thing out of a scrapyard, drove it from its grave, and finally brought it home. So today I think what we're going to do is we're going to tackle the fuel system, do a couple little things, and make it a running turnkey car so you can just jump in it, turn the key, and get it going. So without any further ado, let's jump right into it and just get it done. In the last episode, you remember that we got this thing running. We had it bottle fed, give it fuel to make it run. So I think one of the first things today that we're gonna do is we're gonna see how clean that tank is. We're gonna try and get it running directly off the tank. There's a few different ways you can do this. Take the tank out. What I'm gonna do is, fortunately for myself, I have a camera available that I can stick down into the tank and we can take a look and see what's going on to see if there's any rust or anything like that. If it's really bad, what you want to do is take the tank out. You want to put like thing in it, rocks, marbles, anything like that. Put fuel in it and then slosh it around, and it should take most of the rust off. Empty it out, and then you should have a clean-ish tank or cleaner tank. Throw yourself a couple of fuel filters on there and you should be good to go. So today I think we're just going to check out how bad the tank is and then see if we can put a couple filters on if we need to take it out, etc. So let's go take a look at it and see what we got. Also, guys, before we get started, I just want to say a couple things. The first thing is I just want to thank everybody so much for subscribing to my channel and for helping my channel grow. I thank you guys so much, all the viewers. You guys I appreciate it so much. I don't know how to thank you guys. It means the world. The second thing is I just want to say I'm not a mechanic, guys. I'm learning as I go. When you see me do stuff, don't try it at home. This is just kind of having fun, you know, and messing around with some old cars. If you guys see something I do and it's not perfect, you know, I understand. Like I said, I'm just learning, so just please bear in mind with that. Let's check out that tank and see what we got, see if we can get the old girl running and driving today. Maybe we can even do a couple burnout. I figured, you know what, just before we go check out that tank, we'll take another quick look around the car. Just if you guys haven't seen the first video, you can see what we got here. So we have a 1968 Oldsmobile Delmont 88. It is a 455 big block optional car. We pulled it out of a scrapyard where it's been sitting forever. Before that, it sat in an underground parking and an older gentleman owned it. I'm not 100% sure. This may be a one owner car. Don't quote me on that. Tell that it's had a lot of body work in the past, so I'm not too sure if that's older body work. I mean, it would be older, but from the 70s or something like that. Or if it's newer, probably a lot older. It was sitting in a cocoon, as you will, of brush and thorn bushes. So as you can see in the back here, still is super dirty. The interior is an absolute freaking mess. It smells like mold and cat urine, cat feces. Unfortunately, the gentleman who had this, or the scrapyard, was actually using this particular car to keep the cats warm in the wintertime. He put a couple blankets and stuff and food in here for them, so they would actually come in the wintertime. Stray cats, they would come in the wintertime and then they would sleep and do their stuff inside this car. So I'm sure you guys can know how the smell would be, and it's absolutely horrible. So I just put the windows down for now. Sunny day out, it's nice and warm, so all that stuff is fermenting and it's coming up and it just smells bad. Enough ranting, let's go check out that tank. Let's see what we got. So what we have here, guys, is nothing fancy. It's just a maximum snake camera. It's just got a little itty bitty camera on the bottom of it. These are good for lots of things. If you're doing work on engines, anything like that, they're good. You can stick them down the cylinders, check out the bores, see what the pistons look like, etc. Anything really, these are good for. You can pick them up anywhere, usually your local hardware store, parts store, etc. Here in Canada, Canadian Tire, they're about $100 on sale, but it's a good tool to have for sure. So basically all we're gonna do is we're gonna take the camera, we're gonna open up the fuel tank here. Oh, you can smell the varnish. So we're gonna stick the camera down in there. You can do this with old cars because they don't have fuel block off. So in the newer cars, they make it so you can't steal fuel, so you can't stick a tube down there. On these old cars you can, so we'll just snake it and then we'll see what we got going on. All right, guys, I know it's gonna be hard for you guys to see because of the glare, but as you can see there, the tank is actually pretty clean. It does have some rust bubbles, so we'll put a couple filters on it and then we'll put some fuel in it. with the filters. The filter should be able to help clean all this stuff up that might come off. That's the bottom of the tank there. We should be good. We should be good. If you guys see any particles or any heavy rust at the bottom of the tank, make sure you take it out and clean it. This one should be okay. I'm gonna say that the fuel that was in there was probably 20-30 years old. Who knew how long it sat in the underground parking before it got to the scrapyard? So I'm gonna say that fuel is very old, and usually fuel like that doesn't leave a lot of film or anything on the gas tank when it dries up. So that's a good sign. We're gonna put some fuel in the tank, and then we're gonna go up front, run some new fuel line, a new fuel filter. We'll put a battery in it, and we'll go from there. We'll see if she starts up. Almost looks like you're peeing in the back. Something cool you don't see on the new cars very much is you don't have to actually go in the car on these old ones to lift the hood up. You actually just go underneath the bumper. There's a latch you lift up, and then there's a second latch, and she opens up just like that. All right guys, so as you can see, everything's left the same way. They brought it over, they didn't touch it, so it still has my bottle and the fuel line up to the carburetor. So we're gonna take that off, obviously, and then what we're gonna do is there should be a line here that goes down, yep, down there to the fuel pump. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take this line off here, and we're gonna put a new rubber line on, and then we're gonna run it up to the carburetor. We're gonna put a filter in between the carburetor and the fuel pump so that it catches all the any gunk or anything that'll go into the carburetor, mess it up, and then we should be okay. Technically, if it's really bad, what you want to do is you want to put in another filter before the fuel pump as well, just so that nothing really gets in the fuel pump and crudds that up. So if you're going to do that, you just take off this line here and then just run a longer line, run it, and then you put a fuel filter there. I think what we're going to do, we're just going to replace that one line, and then we'll see if the fuel pump works. I think it does. Before, I don't know if you remember in the last video, I thought I smelled fuel or varnish anyways, and there wasn't anything coming out. I think what it was is the fuel pump just pushing air out, and it was just the smell of the varnish coming out. So hopefully the fuel pump does work. We will see. If not, I have an electric fuel pump, or I'll just go get another one. So I'm gonna try and get that line off now. It doesn't look like it's gonna be too fun, and we'll be right back. It really is amazing though when you think about it, that you can get a car, these old cars, just to run off a bottle for fuel. Now, if you were to do that or try that with a new car, I really don't think that's going to happen. You don't have enough fuel pressure, etc. So these will start videos are just going to be a comic dying breed, because once all these cars are found or started, once these cars are all found or started, and I just cut myself. Oh jeez. Then fuel injected cars, they're going to be really shitty to go and start, because you can't take the fuel lines off, you can't check this, you can't check that. Pretty much all you're gonna have to do is put fuel in it and start it. Also, I'm glad whoever put this clamp on, put it on backwards so they make it really easy. You know, instead of putting the clamp on the proper way where you can just get a, you know, socket or something on it. No, they have to turn it around, put it in the worst spot. You bash your hand, you have to use a little small wrench to get off a freaking fuel hose. Well, after 20 minutes, I busted finger, some broken knuckles. We got it off. Okay, so we got that line off. We got a new line partially on here. So what we're gonna do now, before I finish it, is we're gonna put the battery in. We're gonna crank it over a bunch, make sure that that fuel pump is actually working, bringing fuel up. Anything that's really heavy and cruddy will actually come out, and then it won't go up into the filter, so we'll save on the filter a little bit too. So we're gonna put the battery in, and let's see if we can get some fuel coming out of there. Once we get some fuel coming out of there, we should be good, guys. Alrighty, battery is all tight. Someone's partying over there. Yeah. You guys are gonna watch for me, see if any fuel comes out of here. I got the battery hooked up. Now we're gonna see if the mechanical fuel pump works. We're gonna turn over the engine a bunch, and then see if anything comes out of here. And if it does, we're in business, guys. So let's see what we got. Keep an eye out. Nope, nothing yet. It's wanting to, but it's not. Still not. The fuel pump still has no fuel, as you've seen. What we're gonna try and do now is we're just gonna fill up the bottle, and we're just gonna run the car off the bottle for now, so that hopefully it gets the fuel coming through the system and pumps it out. This way you don't have to burn up the starter. So let's just get it running for now. We'll go from there. Give it a couple of bumpers. Still nothing out of here, so we might have to do a fuel pump. I'm gonna look more into it, and then when I figure it out, I'll let you guys know. We'll be right back. It's been a little while, but we were back. What I did was I got the car running enough to see if the fuel pump was working, and it feels there was pressure coming out of the fuel pump. So what I did was I just ended up putting on the new hose there with the fuel filter running down. And then now we're just gonna run a hose to this fuel tank, and then we're gonna see if the fuel pump is working, or if we have something clogged coming back from the tank, or if I don't have enough fuel in the tank. So if this runs, what we're gonna do is we'll let it run for a while, get the fuel into it, and then we'll take this off, take the line off, put it on the line that goes back to the tank, and then hopefully when it's running, it'll run and it'll pull enough to hopefully pull from the tank. Hopefully we're not clogged. So cross fingers. Let's give it a few pumps and see if she turns over. We're gonna have to get some fuel up into there. Let's see if we can get it done. Give her a little pumpage. It's gonna take a little bit for the fuel to get up there. She wants to. She wants to. She's running. She doesn't want to stay running though. I think we're having choke problems, guys. I think that's why she doesn't want to run. Well, but she's idling now. Let's go see what we got. Oh yeah, she's running like a champ now. So at least we know that fuel pump is good, guys. Clear, but it's full of fuel. Yeah, we're having choke problems, guys. There we go. Because the choke's off. That makes sense. Choke's fully open, so it's got to warm up. I just noticed that. Got to play with it a little bit. That choke is off, so that's why we're having problems with it. It's got to warm up before it starts running properly. So now that we know that that fuel pump is running, or that fuel pump works, what we're going to do is we're going to leave all the fluid, all the fuel in the system. Then we're going to take the line out of the tank here, and then we're going to run it down to the hose, and then hopefully it has enough suction that it'll pull from the tank. If not, we know that we have a clog going from the fuel pump to the tank, and then we got to figure that out. See what we can do here. I'm gonna shut it off and then try and switch it over, get it running again, and then we'll see what happens. Hopefully it pulls from the tank, and then we don't have to use that. I've put about 30 liters of fuel in it so far, so we'll see what happens, guys. As you can see, guys, this thing runs like an actual top. It needs an oil change. It's just burning off. It's smoking, as you can see. It's just burning off all the oil and stuff off the headers. But it is super quiet. Super quiet. We got exhaust, nice and warm. Perfect. Look at that, I can't believe this old drill fires up and runs now. So I guess we're just gonna try that, try and get the running from the tank off that fuel line, and we'll go from there. We'll be right back and we'll see what happens. All right guys, so we tried that. We figured that there's got to be some sort of clog from the tank up to the fuel pump because there's no fuel coming through. Also, we just started to spring a leak. I know you guys can't really see it. Remember how in the first video that there's no coolant in this thing? Now I know why. There's a little leak on the side of the radiator. So unfortunately, we have ourselves a spill, but that's okay. We'll clean that up. So we're gonna have to wait for it to cool down now because it was running for a little bit, and then we're gonna have to patch up that rod there. Probably gonna have to wait for it to drain, blah, 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 blah. But we know that it runs. We know the fuel pump isn't bad. We can take it over to the house, start doing some stuff to it, oil change, etc. And then we'll figure out why it's not running from the tank. Let's get it back running, and then we'll see if we can move it. Also realize we have a leak on the inside. Blown out, not working. It looks like we're gonna have to loop those when it cools off and then fill it up, fix the rad. You guys know it. That's just the deal with buying old cars. That's just the way it is. So we'll see if we can get it back running again. We'll try it one more time. So it runs awesome off the I say that. So it runs awesome off of the tank, or off of the gas tank anyways, but we got to get it running from the actual tank because that was the purpose of doing all this today. Fuel there now, we got it in the tank. Oh, it's funny, now that there's pressure, it stopped leaking down there. Let's take it for a first little drive and we'll bring it over and we'll get some stuff done on it. Alrighty, we're gonna take this broken and beatered Oldsmobile for its first little real drive. Tell you what though, should leave some fat heaters. Here we go guys, our first drive. I can't believe this thing. Oh my god, I think we got brakes on one wheel. Holy shit. I can't believe it. We're actually taking it for its first little drive. Holy moly. We gotta be careful though guys. We got brakes on one wheel guys, but we did it. We got smoke coming in here, but we did it. We just took it for its first little drive. We got some smoke guys. Let's see what we got. Yeah. No, the heater core is gone, so it's just leaking. We'll just leave the hose and then it'll be all fixed. All right guys, we did it though. All right guys, so it's been a little bit, as you've seen, that we're having a little bit of a coolant problem, overheating problem. It wasn't actually the motor overheating, it's probably just a little bit low on coolant, but we ended up just taking the two lines. So you have your two heater core lines, one and then two. Basically what you do is you take them off there. I just cut them for now, I'm going to deal with this after, and you just put a connector in between them here, put the two together like this, and then that will actually bypass your heater core so that your heater core isn't leaking, and then the coolant is just running directly through the motor. We put a tiny bit of sealant, you can't see it, but we put a little bit of sealant on the rod there, just hopefully that it stops it from leaking there. So hopefully that'll help a little bit of the issue. Hopefully it doesn't overheat. Let's turn her on and let's see if it leaks or what's going on. Just breathe on the key now, and she wants to run, but she doesn't. Oh, this one's weird. I don't know if it's the fuel or what's going on with it, but sometimes it takes a little bit to start. Maybe because it's been sitting for so long. So, the rod is full. As you can see, it's working. It's pumping everything through like it should. Perfect. Awesome. Everything's flowing great, so that's working properly. Doesn't seem that we're leaking air just yet. Perfect. And doesn't look like we're leaking down there just yet either. So far so good, guys. Awesome. So I think now what we're gonna do, we'll just take it for a little drive just up the street and back. All right, guys. So we're gonna go for a little bit of a drive here. Seemed to just shut off on me. I think we're just having some fuel delivery issues the way it is, so we got to get it hooked up by the tank. Wow. Look at this, guys. We're going for our first drive. This thing will be a fun little car, actually. This thing drives really good. If somebody wanted to put a whole bunch of work into it, I think they'd have a good little driver. Can we do a donut? I don't know if we should, but let's see. No, we're just having a few delivery issues. We don't want to do it just yet. All right, so we took over a short little drive. We're just down. Come on, door. There we go. We are just down the street where I did the review on the Buick. Here she is, guys. Taking her out for a first drive, and it actually drives really good. Now, the brakes are only working on one wheel, somewhere on this side, I believe. It every time I hit the brakes, it wants to pull, but it is working. It looks like everything is coming out now that was in the heater core. So let's see, is she overheating still? Oh yeah. Yep. So we're gonna have to find better clamps, guys, and fix this. This is just for now. That's where it's leaking. I think it's still coming out of the heater box still because it still has stuff in there. She is working, guys. That's awesome. So excited for that. So on the next video, we are gonna get this thing all cleaned up. We're gonna take it and we're gonna wash it. We're gonna get all of this junk off, all of this stuff, make it look brand new. We're gonna get the interior all done because this is currently what I'm sitting on. It is absolutely filthy. So we're gonna do that. I just today wanted to make sure that it ran and drove turnkey. You jump in it, it turns over, it turns on. We still got a little bit of work to do. We're getting there, guys, we're getting there. We're gonna do, in the next video, we're gonna do an oil change. We are gonna get the proper, we're just gonna get the proper size fitting for it. I just had what I had just to get it over and done with, just to make sure it works. So if I needed something else, I could get that done as well. Here she is, guys, out and drives, and it actually drives very well. If the brakes were good, it'd be much better. It pulls a little bit because it touches on the gut, because I'm a bigger guy. The seat needs to be fixed. It seems to turn off every now and then. I'm gonna guess that's a fuel issue, just where the fuel tank is and the sloshing around and stuff. There you have it, guys. I'm sorry for cutting this video short. I really appreciate you guys watching. The next video we're going to do a little better. It's going to be a little bit longer. Like I said, we're going to clean it and do a bunch of other stuff, so make sure you stay tuned. If you guys like this video, give me a thumbs up. That'd be awesome. If you guys have any comments or suggestions, shoot them down in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you guys. I appreciate you guys helping me out grow the channel. I'm hoping to do lots of cool stuff like this. Just today, I'm sorry I got cut short, but we're going to get more work done on this soon. We'll get it done this week, and we'll get another video for you guys. So thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it, and have an awesome day, guys. See you later.